It's the start of the new year, so here are some things you might want to consider doing in your copy of Athenaeum. For this video, I'm using a build of Athenaeum that was released early January 2020. You can find out your build by going to the support menu on the main menu and then choosing version. The second last line has a number 1186. That's our internal build number. If you're using something earlier, that means your Athenaeum has not been updated automatically. Please do contact us. Firstly, if you've customized the main menu for stocktake, you might wish to reset that to your preferred settings. So to do this, go Admin, then click the main menu tab. Now remove the buttons you don't wish to have. So I'm going to remove Continue Stocktake simply by clicking and pressing the Delete key on the keyboard. And then add back the buttons that you do want. So let's put Issue, Return. We're going to add Extend after that. Note that you don't have to fill all the spaces. The buttons will expand automatically to fill the main menu. We might add New Copy, then Quick Mark. We'll put History back. And when you're configuring the borrower types at the start of the year, it's often useful to have that on the main menu too. Now click the main menu and you can see your main menu is reconfigured. Next, you might wish to check the latest dates in Athenaeum. To read more about the latest dates, go to the documentation and have a look at Chapter 18 here, Due Date Calculations. This talks all about how Athenaeum calculates due dates when you issue items. The relevant sections are to do with the latest date for a borrower type, and the latest date for a borrower. And you can read more about that later. So let's have a look at the system latest date. Click on Admin, click on Dates. The very first date here is the latest due date. This is the absolute latest due date that the system will allow. Anything issued will never be due after this, unless you, as the library administrator, change that. You can use the calendar widget if you like and pick a date, or you could simply type in the date in day, month, year, or if your system is month, day, year, in that format. So let's type in here, say the 7th of the 12th, and I'm just going to press tab and you'll notice that it puts the current year, which is 2020. The fiscal year is only used by organisations that have a different fiscal reporting year from a calendar year. So if your fiscal year begins on the 1st of April and your accountant wishes for you to be able to filter based on those dates, you would add 1st of April in there. Likewise for 1st of June and so on, or 1st of July and so on. Next, you wish to set some recesses. The recesses are the dates that your library is closed, and therefore you put in the closed range of dates. You can do it manually by clicking the plus icon here and typing in a begin date and an end date. But I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to use an automatic load feature in Athenaeum. I'm going to choose the recesses according to my organisation and say load secondary recesses. And now I can just simply remove the ones I don't want. Maybe I wish to adjust certain dates. Maybe this would be the Thursday and not the Friday, and so on. Likewise, we can put in individual holidays. You can type them one by one. Well, let's get rid of that. And let's choose New Zealand Public Holiday in this instance and choose to load those. And Athenaeum will retrieve those from the Athenaeum website. Now, these are all of the holidays. You don't need them all, so you can simply, holding the Shift key on Windows or the Option key on Mac, you can very quickly get rid of the dates that you don't wish. So Auckland Day, Northland, yes, I'll keep those. Wellington, maybe I don't wish for that. Waitangi Day is a holiday. Let's close these ones here. This is actually celebrated on the 27th. That is a closed day, so that's a Monday. And so on. Next, you might want to check to see if your borrower types have any latest due dates against them. So click the Type button, or Navigation, click Type in the navigation menu here. And you can check your latest due dates here. Now, if you had latest due dates from last year, you should remove those. You might, if you wish, say that seniors are going to finish on the 1st of November this year, so, well, let's say 3rd of November, and juniors will finish at the normal date. If you want to, you can set those individual dates. Finally, you might want to check that your borrowers don't have any dates against them. Using the keyboard shortcut, I'll type the letter B, and I'll do a find. And in the latest due date field, I'll look for anything that has a due date. I'll just press an asterisk in there and just press the Enter key. And there were no borrowers, so I'm good to go there. Next, you might wish to check any issues you still have outstanding from previous year or years. So I can click the Overdue button on the main menu, and I get quite an extensive list. Now, policies vary widely. Just because something is overdue doesn't necessarily mean that's a problem. This depends on how each library is configured. I'm not going to worry about issues from last year, but I am going to worry about issues from the previous year. So if I do a find and find anything that was due in 2018, I've found 7 items. I can see a few of these people have left. Well, those items are gone, so I may as well just return those. These items, I might issue a fee for those items, but I am pretty sure that the items are lost. So I can mark the items as lost. That can generate a fee and add it to the borrower, and it will send the item to the archive. Due to the sensitive nature of fees, these have to be dealt with on an individual basis. So I'm going to mark this item as lost. And it says, do you wish to report this item as lost? So I'll say it's lost. Yes, I do want to send it to the archive. This item was pretty valuable, $75.89, so I'm going to add a fee to that. And now that's gone. Let's do the same thing for this item. Lost, archive, $43.20, add the fee. The borrowers marked in red are marked as deactive, meaning they've left the school. I know it's pointless. I'm not going to get these items back. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to assume the same thing for this item here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list these copies. I'm then going to return all of these. Then I'm going to come back to the copies and mark them as archived. We can't archive them from circulation. So let's do the little module hopping trick. I'm going to say list these copies. So these are the copies that we're going to bulk archive. Now I'm just going to press the I button or the I key on the keyboard and return back to the issues list. And I'm going to say return these 5 issues. Now let's go back to the copies list and I'm going to bulk archive these. Lost for good. When it comes to checking your borrowers, there are a few things to consider, particularly for school libraries in the Southern Hemisphere where the classes have just changed. Now, in this copy of Athenaeum, we've set the description of Group 1 to year, meaning the year at school, 1 to 13, and Group 2 is the room, or the home room for that student. Note, in this case, the year is the number. So when I go to borrowers, and I'll just press B on the keyboard to jump over to the borrower list, I can see my list of borrowers and their year and their room. Now, if you are using Kmart, the year and the room will be set automatically. If you are not using Kmart and you're not importing data from a student management system like ETAP, then you'll need to increment the year either manually or in bulk. There is a feature in Athenaeum where you go to the utility menu and choose manipulate, and you can select increment year. It says for these 8 borrowers that I'm currently looking at, please increment the year by 1. Confirm the increment, and now all of these borrowers have been increased by 1. Unfortunately, there's usually not a pattern where the room also increments by 1. However, you can do a calculated replace to affect the same. It's a good idea to check the borrower type as well. Some of your borrowers will change type. If you're using juniors and seniors, those who've moved from junior school to senior school will probably want their borrower type changed. And you can do this a couple of ways. You could just change them one by one, or you could go and find a particular year or a particular range of years and use a calculated replace. So we might say find years 7.8 and let's omit Maxine because she is staff. And here we might just set them all to junior. Now notice we still have the blue rectangle, records, replace field contents, sit on your hands and read permanently. That means you can't undo. Now we're only modifying 5 records, so we can easily manually fix this. Permanently replace the contents of the field ID type in the 5 records of the current found set with 21. It so happens that Athenaeum's internal representation of junior is the number 21. And when I step through and look at the other borrowers, you can see they've all been set to juniors. Another thing you might want to look for is the issue messages. Issue messages will still be there from last year. Issue messages are always shown when these borrowers borrow an item. If you don't want the issue message, delete it. If you wish to find anyone who has an issue message and review whether or not to keep that, simply click the Find button, star, enter. There are 6 borrowers here with messages. Samantha is not active, so I'll skip over that one. Tyrone lost a book back in 2013. We could probably stop asking him about that book, so let's delete that. And so on. This was also 2013, so let's get rid of that, etc. You might also wish to review outstanding fees. When a borrower has outstanding fees and their type does not allow them to borrow when they have fees, that will stop any issues dead in their tracks. So you might need to check that. So if I go navigation, type, and I look at, say, the junior borrower type, you can see they are not allowed outstanding fees. So if I find any juniors who have a fee, and we try to issue it to them, we will have to override that as a librarian or decline the issue. So let's look at fees. Navigation fee, or just press the letter F on the keyboard, and you can see we've got quite a few fees here. If you don't levy fees, then you can ignore this part of the video. Athenaeum does not actually care if you collect the money for fees, just that they are settled or deleted. You can settle them or delete them individually, or you can do them collectively. To do them individually, find a fee that you wish to settle and choose settle like so. Let's say I want to settle all fees before 1st of June last year. Possibly a little bit pointless keeping the fees that long, so we'll click the Find button. Look for a date of less than 1/6/2019, 1st of June 2019. Press Enter. I can go to the command menu and choose Settle 116 fees. Yes, I do want to settle those. Now I get a warning. Some of these fees have already been linked to the student management system. Settling the fees will not settle them in the SMS, and you'll need to take that up with the SMS administrator. Alternatively, if you wish to delete the fees, simply go to the Records menu and choose Purge 116. In this case, 16 records, there's 116 fees. Purge 116 records. Add a reason and click Purge. The fees are permanently removed. Finally, you might wish to update your blog. Currently, the blog is as it was left before Christmas. So, blog. Let's change the message and put in some content. And let's enable some new content. Maybe it's Person of the Year, the resource about fake news, and let's turn off some of the other things that we no longer need. Maybe turn our Epic search back on. As you can see, we can have as many as we like, but we don't have to have all of these enabled. Turn that off. Turn that off. Click here. Now, when we reload our web page, you can see this is now changed. Finally, we might want to change the banner. That's done in Styles. And the styles, the banner is set here. However, using the heart feature, you can choose one of your saved banners. Maybe this one. And then when you come back and reload, your website's updated as you choose. Finally, I have many copies of Athenaeum open, as you might expect. Sometimes I like to differentiate the main menu on the different Athenaeums that I have open, like so. I'm just going to hide the web browser and go back to the main menu. Now, in admin, there is an option down here for a window banner. You can either insert window banner or just drag your window banner in. And when you go back to the main menu, it's just customize the look and feel with a fun graphic if you want to. And that's it.